Welcome to this ASP.NET video tour of profiles and themes. Profiles and themes are great ways for you to customize the user experience for your site. You can use a custom profile to allow you to store per user configuration information, and you can use themes to allow you to give a different look and feel for your site where you control the cascading style sheets and all the other images that are part of your website. So we're going to start first by creating a website that looks at how we use the profile object. So first I'm going to create a website by just opening up an empty folder under websites, and I'll call it profiles. And this will give me an empty website. And to this, I'm going to start by creating a web config file. And the reason why I'm starting with the web configuration file is that it's here where we define the schema or the information that defines what our profile is going to look like. Now remember, the profile is just it's a bundle of information like the user's full name, their favorite color, or some kind of preferences for the site. It's where here you define what the profile looks like, and it's stored in a database, which I'll demonstrate in a minute. So let me start with kind of an empty configuration or web config file. Here we have, if you haven't seen IntelliSense before in the web config, this is a new feature in Visual Web Developer 2005. I need to add a section in here called profile, and I'm going to add a new property called full name. And it's here that a user will be able to enter what their full name is. By default, we'll set the default value for anonymous. And another thing we can do, and this is really cool, is that we can even allow non-authenticated users use this profile. Now later there's another video where we talk about membership and authentication and roles. That will go into more detail, but in this case I'm going to turn on allow anonymous, so even users that haven't authenticated can still take advantage of these properties. Now it turns out when you have anonymous profiles, you have to go on a higher level here and enable anonymous identification. And I'll just set that equals to true. Now you can see there's a lot of other settings here having to do with whether it's cookie or cookieless, and where it stores the cookie's name, and if it requires SSL. For now we can get by just with having these two entries. So we're done with the web config file for now. We need a page to display our profile object, so I'll create a default page. And this will be a really simple page. All we really need here is we just need some text. And I'll put welcome and a label control right here. I can just type this one by hand. So I have a label called label1 and tell it to run on the server like usual. And that's good. Now we're going to need a page to set your profile. So let's do that real quick before I forget. So I'll create a page called settings. And in order to get to the settings page, we need a hyperlink. So I'll put that in back on the main page. Okay, good. Before we go fill out the settings page, let's see what this looks like. What we want to do is when this page loads, set the label equal to the profile. And I'll do that by putting a little bit of code up here at the top. I need the page load method. And if we're not in a postback situation, if not page is postback, then we want to set the label1 text value equal to, now this is really cool, watch, profile dot full name. So just by making that entry in the web config, we get a type safe instance of this global object called profile that's specific to this user. And when we run this, I expect that to be equal to our default value for profile, which was anonymous. Great, that's just what we needed. Now let's go set up the settings page and we'll change that profile information. Now let's see, what we need to do is go to settings. Let me put something here, enter your full name. So I'll switch to design mode. This will be a little bit easier. We need a text box and a button. So I'll just drag those onto the page. And then we need a save button. And I need to set the text for that. Great. Now, when the user clicks save, we're going to take the information that's in the text box and stick it back in the profile. Okay. And also, when the page loads, we'll go ahead and initialize the text box using pretty much the same code from the other page. Alright, let's test this out. Oh, one more thing. When they click Save, not only will I save the profile, I'll send us back to the main page. So we should still get anonymous, but now I'll go put my name in and save it. And there we go. So even if I close the site and come back later, that will still be there. And that's because it's storing my computer information and my profile information inside of a database that it created for us dynamically called the ASP.NET database. Now you'll see this database come up in other situations when we start dealing with membership and roles. I'm going to show it to you right now. Inside tables, if we look at users, even though I don't have a real authentication, it's still tracking me as an anonymous user. So there's my information, kind of cryptic, and that's the name of my virtual machine. And if I go to, let's see, profile, I can see my profile information. So we can see that there's the definition of the schema. It's a full name, which is a string, and it's bytes 0 through 15, and here's the property value. That's pretty cool. So let's close all this down. Now let's switch gears for a minute and now talk about themes. And at the very end I'll show you how we can tie these two concepts together. A theme is a collection of style sheets and imagery, or these things called skin files, that allow you to customize the look and feel of your site. To add a theme to your project, we go back and add under the special ASP.NET folder link this thing called themes, and I'll make one called summer. And I'm also going to have one called winter, so I'll go ahead and make that right now.